Your doctor just gave you another prescription. That's the fifth one this month. You walk out of the office feeling more confused than when you walked in. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Millions of seniors are trapped in a cycle that's making them sicker, not better. The very advice meant to help you is actually stealing your strength and independence. Right now, there are 5 deadly myths being pushed on seniors everywhere. These aren't just harmless misconceptions. They're dangerous lies that are keeping you weak, tired, and dependent on others. What if everything you've been told about aging is wrong? What if the reason you feel worse each year isn't because you're getting older, but because you're following advice that's designed to fail? The pharmaceutical industry doesn't want you to know this. Neither do most doctors. But the truth is about to come out, and it's going to shock you in the next 10 minutes. You'll discover why 90% of seniors believe myths that are literally destroying their health. This isn't theory. This is life-changing truth. Here's what's coming. First, the exercise myth that's making you weaker every single day. Doctors tell you to take it easy, but Harvard research proves this advice is creating an epidemic of frailty among seniors. Second, the calcium lie, that's actually destroying your bones from the inside. You've been told to drink more milk and take calcium pills, but a 12-year study of 61,000 women revealed something terrifying about this advice. Third, the cholesterol myth that's robbing your brain. Power. New research shows seniors with higher cholesterol actually live longer, yet doctors keep prescribing drugs that are starving your brain of essential nutrients. Finally, the memory loss myth that's creating unnecessary panic. Your brain isn't broken because you're over 65. Nobel Prize-winning research proves your mind can grow stronger at any age, but only if you stop believing the lies. You wake up feeling tired. Your joints ache. You can't remember names like you used to. Your doctor says it's normal aging, but deep down, you know something's wrong. You've done everything right. You take your medications. You follow the diet plan. You go to your appointments. Yet every year, you feel weaker, more confused, and more dependent on others for help. Your friends are going through the same thing. Margaret needs help opening jars. Robert can't climb stairs without getting winded. Susan forgets conversations she had yesterday. Everyone says it's just part of getting older. But what if it's not? What if the very system designed to help you is actually making you worse? What if the advice you're following is based on outdated research that doesn't apply to people over 65? The truth is about to change everything you thought you knew about aging. Myth number 1. You need to exercise less as you age. The first myth destroying your health is the most dangerous one of all. Your doctor looks at you and says those dreaded words. You need to slow down. You're not 20 anymore. This single piece of advice is stealing your independence faster than any disease ever could. Here's what really happens when you follow this advice. Your muscles start shrinking within weeks. Your bones become brittle. Your balance gets worse. Your confidence disappears. Before you know it, you're the person who needs help carrying groceries, climbing stairs, or even getting up from a chair. But here's the shocking truth that changes everything. A groundbreaking study from the University of Pittsburgh followed 3,000 seniors for 10 years. The results will blow your mind. Seniors who did high-intensity exercise were 67% less likely to need assistance with daily activities. They lived longer, stronger, and more independent lives. Meet Dorothy, age 78. 3 years ago, she could barely walk to her mailbox without getting winded. Her doctor told her to take it easy and prescribed more medications. Dorothy felt like her life was over. She was becoming a burden to her family. Then Dorothy discovered something that changed her life forever. She started lifting weights twice a week. Not little pink dumbbells. Real weights. Within 6 months, she was carrying her own groceries again. Within a year, she was hiking trails with her grandchildren. The medical establishment doesn't want you to know this, but your body is designed to be strong at any age. NASA research on astronauts proves that muscle loss isn't about age. It's about inactivity. When astronauts return from space, they're as weak as 90-year-old patients. But with proper training, they regain their strength completely. Your muscles don't have an expiration date. Japanese researchers studied 100-year-old athletes and found something incredible. Their muscle fibers looked almost identical to those of 20-year-olds. The only difference? They never stopped moving, never stopped challenging their bodies. Take it easy. Advice is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of aging. Your body doesn't wear out from use. It deteriorates from disuse. Every day you spend taking it easy is a day you're choosing weakness over strength, dependence over independence. But there's something even more sinister about this myth. It's not just about physical weakness. When you lose your physical strength, you lose your confidence. You stop believing in yourself. You start accepting limitations that don't need to exist. You become a victim of your own lowered expectations. The truth is, your body is waiting for you to challenge it again. Your muscles are ready to grow. Your bones are ready to strengthen. Your heart is ready to pump harder. But only if you stop believing the lie that you're too old to be strong. The next myth is even more dangerous, because it's literally hardening your arteries while weakening your bones. Myth number 2. More calcium equals stronger bones. The second myth is killing seniors slowly and silently. Your doctor says your bones are thinning, so you need more calcium. You start drinking extra milk, swallowing calcium pills, and eating more dairy. But 6 months later, your bone density is still dropping. The truth? You're following advice that's making the problem worse. Here's what nobody tells you about calcium. Taking calcium without its essential partners is like trying to build a house with only bricks and no mortar. The calcium doesn't go to your bones. Instead, it gets deposited in your arteries, creating dangerous blockages that can kill you. Dr. Kate Rumblou spent 15 years researching this phenomenon. She discovered that countries with the highest calcium intake have the highest rates of osteoporosis. Meanwhile, countries with lower calcium consumption have stronger bones and fewer fractures. The calcium myth isn't just wrong. It's backwards. Let me tell you about Frank, age 72. His doctor put him on high-dose calcium after a bone density scan showed osteoporosis. Frank religiously took 1,200 milligrams of calcium daily for 2 years. His bones got worse. Then he had a heart attack. The calcium had been building up in his coronary arteries, not his bones. The real problem isn't calcium deficiency. It's magnesium deficiency. Magnesium is what tells calcium where to go in your body. Without enough magnesium, calcium becomes a dangerous toxin floating through your bloodstream, looking for somewhere to stick. Unfortunately, it usually sticks to your arteries. But magnesium isn't the only missing piece. Vitamin D3 is essential for calcium absorption. Most seniors are severely deficient in D3, especially those who spend most of their time indoors. Without D3, you could take 5,000 milligrams of calcium daily and still have weak bones. Then there's vitamin K2, the nutrient that activates the proteins, responsible for putting calcium in your bones and keeping it out of your arteries. K2 is found in fermented foods that most seniors rarely eat. Without K2, calcium supplementation is not just useless. It's dangerous. The Japanese have known this secret for centuries. Their traditional diet includes natto, a fermented soybean dish loaded with K2. Japanese seniors have some of the strongest bones in the world, despite consuming far less calcium than Americans. They also have much lower rates of heart disease. Here's the protocol that actually works for bone health. First, get your vitamin D3 level tested. Most seniors need 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily, not the pathetic 400 IU recommended by outdated guidelines. Second, take magnesium glycinate, not magnesium oxide, which causes diarrhea. Third, add K2M, K7, the most bioavailable form. But the biggest revelation is this: resistance training builds bones faster than any supplement. When you lift weights, your muscles pull on your bones, triggering them to grow stronger and denser. A study of 90-year-old women showed that those who lifted weights increased their bone density by 9% in just 6 months. The calcium myth has created a generation of seniors with weak bones and clogged arteries. But now you know the truth. Strong bones aren't built with calcium pills. They're built with the right nutrients working together, plus the stimulus of resistance training. The next myth is even more shocking because it's about your brain. Myth number 3. Lower cholesterol equals better health for seniors. The third myth is stealing your brain power and shortening your life. Your doctor sees your cholesterol at 220 and immediately reaches for the prescription pad. We need to get this below 200, they say. High cholesterol will kill you. But here's the terrifying truth. They're about to prescribe a drug that could destroy your mind. Meet Barbara, age 69. She was sharp as a tack until her doctor put her on statins. Within 6 months, she couldn't remember her grandchildren's names. She got lost driving to the grocery store she'd visited for 20 years. Her family thought she was developing dementia. The real culprit? The cholesterol medication that was starving her brain. Your brain is 25% cholesterol. Every thought you think, every memory you form, every decision you make depends on cholesterol. When you drive your cholesterol too low, you're literally starving your brain of its most essential building block. This isn't theory. This is biochemistry. Dr. Dwayne Graveline, a former NASA astronaut and aerospace medical doctor, experienced this firsthand. His doctor prescribed statins, and within weeks, he suffered complete amnesia. He couldn't remember his wife, his children, or his own name. When he stopped the statin, his memory returned. When he restarted it, the amnesia came back immediately. The medical establishment has been pushing the cholesterol myth for decades, but the science tells a different story. A massive study published in The Lancet followed 350,000 people for over a decade. The shocking result? People with higher cholesterol lived longer, not shorter lives. The fear of cholesterol has been killing more people than cholesterol itself. But here's where it gets even more disturbing. The studies that proved cholesterol was dangerous were based on middle-aged men, not seniors. For people over 65, the rules change completely. Higher cholesterol levels are protective, not dangerous. They're associated with better brain function, stronger immune systems, and longer lifespans. The French have known this secret for generations. They eat more saturated fat and have higher cholesterol than Americans, yet they have half the rate of heart disease. The French paradox isn't a paradox at all. It's proof that cholesterol isn't the enemy. The real enemies are inflammation, stress, and processed foods. Barbara's story has a happy ending. Once she realized the connection between her memory loss and the statin, she worked with a functional medicine doctor to stop the medication safely. Within 3 months, her sharp mind returned. Within 6 months, she was back to her old self. Playing bridge and managing her finances independently, the statin industry is worth billions of dollars annually. They have no incentive to admit that their drugs are causing more harm than good in seniors. But independent researchers around the world are exposing the truth. Cholesterol isn't your enemy. It's your brain's best friend. Your doctor might resist this information. They've been taught to fear cholesterol for decades. but you have the right to know the truth. You have the right to make informed decisions about your brain health. You have the right to question whether the cure is worse than the disease. The next myth is about your memory, and it's creating unnecessary panic in millions of seniors. Myth number 4. Memory loss is normal after 65. The fourth myth is destroying hope in seniors everywhere. You forget where you put your keys, and someone jokes about senior moments. You can't remember an actor's name, and your family exchanges worried glances. Everyone acts like memory loss after 65 is inevitable. This lie is stealing your confidence and creating unnecessary panic about your mental future. Here's the truth that changes everything. Your brain doesn't have an expiration date. Nobel Prize-winning research proves that your brain continues to grow new neurons throughout your entire life. This process is called neuroplasticity, and it means your 80-year-old brain can actually become sharper than it was at 40. Let me tell you about Henry, age 84. After retirement, he started forgetting appointments and mixing up names. His family was convinced he was developing Alzheimer's. But Henry's doctor ran comprehensive tests and discovered something shocking. Henry's dementia was actually severe B12 deficiency. Within 3 months of B12 injections, Henry's memory was better than it had been in years. The medical system has trained us to fear every forgotten word as a sign of impending dementia. But most memory issues in seniors are brain diseases. Their nutritional deficiencies, medication side effects, or a simple lack of mental stimulation. The difference between normal aging and disease is massive, but nobody explains this to seniors. Dr. Dale Breedson, a neurologist who's reversed hundreds of cases of cognitive decline, discovered something revolutionary. What we call Alzheimer's is actually your brain's protective response to threats. Inflammation, toxins, and nutrient deficiencies trigger your brain to shut down connections to protect itself. Fix the underlying causes, and memory often returns. The most tragic part of this myth is how it becomes self-fulfilling. When you believe your brain is failing, you stop challenging it. You avoid learning new things. You stop trying to remember names. You accept limitations that don't need to exist. Your brain, like your muscles, gets weaker when you don't use it. But here's where the story gets exciting. Seniors who learn new skills actually reverse brain aging. A study of 70-year-olds who learned photography and quilting showed brain activity patterns identical to 20-year-olds. Their brains didn't just stop declining. They actually got younger. Carmen, age 73, thought her memory was failing until she decided to learn Spanish. Everyone told her she was too old, but Carmen persisted. Within a year, she was conversing fluently with her Spanish-speaking neighbors. Her memory improved dramatically. Her confidence soared. She realized her brain wasn't broken. It was just bored. The real memory killers aren't age-related. They're lifestyle-related. Chronic stress floods your brain with cortisol, destroying memory centers. Poor sleep prevents your brain from consolidating memories. Isolation and depression literally shrink your brain. But all of these are fixable at any age. The memory myth has convinced millions of seniors that mental decline is inevitable. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Your brain is designed to stay sharp throughout your life. You just need to feed it properly, challenge it regularly, and stop believing the lie that you're too old to learn. Your mind is your most powerful tool. Don't let anyone convince you it's broken just because you've had a few more birthdays. The final myth is about your metabolism, and it's keeping you weak and overweight despite your best efforts. Myth number 5. Eat less, move more. Works for seniors. The fifth myth is the cruelest of all because it makes you blame yourself for failing. Every diet book, every doctor, every health expert tells you the same thing. Eat less, move more. You follow this advice religiously, but the scale doesn't budge. You feel like a failure. The truth? This advice is metabolically impossible for seniors. Meet Robert, age 68. He weighed 240 pounds and was desperate to lose weight. His doctor put him on a 1,200-calorie diet and told him to walk more. Robert followed the plan perfectly for 6 months. He lost 15 pounds initially, then gained it all back plus 10 more. His doctor blamed Robert for not trying hard enough. The real problem? The advice was destroying Robert's metabolism. When you drastically cut calories after age 60, your body doesn't just burn fat. It burns muscle first. Muscle is metabolically expensive tissue. Your body sees it as a luxury it can't afford during starvation. Every pound of muscle you lose drops your metabolic rate by 50 calories per day. You end up weaker, hungrier, and with a slower metabolism than when you started. They eat less, move more. Advice is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of senior metabolism. Your body after 60 isn't the same as your body at 30. Your hormones have changed. Your muscle mass has declined. Your metabolic rate has dropped. Following young person advice in an older body is like trying to run modern software on an old computer. Dr. Lehman's research at the University of Illinois revealed something revolutionary. When seniors ate more protein and lifted weights, they lost twice as much fat as those who just cut calories. The high-protein group maintained their muscle mass and kept their metabolism strong. The low-calorie group lost muscle and regained all their weight within a year. Here's what really works for senior weight loss. First, you need to eat enough protein to maintain muscle mass. Aim for 1 gram per pound of body weight. Second, you need resistance training to signal your body to keep muscle while losing fat. Third, you need to eat enough calories to fuel your workouts and recovery. Robert's transformation began when he stopped starving himself. He increased his calories to 1,800 per day, doubled his protein intake, and started lifting weights twice a week. Within 3 months, he lost 25 pounds of fat while gaining 8 pounds of muscle. His energy soared. His confidence returned. His metabolism was stronger than it had been in years. The diet industry doesn't want you to know this secret. They make billions selling you the same failed advice over and over. But senior metabolism requires a completely different approach. You need to feed your body, not starve it. You need to build muscle, not just lose weight. You need to get stronger, not weaker. The most dangerous part of this myth is how it destroys your relationship with food. You start viewing every meal as a threat. You feel guilty for eating enough to fuel your body. You develop a scarcity mindset that makes you binge when willpower fails. This creates a cycle of shame and self-blame that's harder to break than any food addiction. Your metabolism isn't broken because you're older. It's broken because you've been following advice that doesn't work for seniors. Your body is designed to be strong and lean at any age, but only if you feed it properly. Challenge it appropriately and stop believing the lie that you need to eat like a bird to look like a hawk. You've just discovered 5 myths that have been stealing your health, your strength, and your independence. These aren't just medical mistakes. They're systematic lies that have convinced millions of seniors to accept weakness as normal. But now you know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Robert went from 240 pounds to 195 pounds of solid muscle. Barbara got her sharp mind back. Dorothy went from needing help with groceries to hiking mountains. Henry's dementia disappeared. With proper nutrition, these aren't miracles. They're the natural result of following science instead of myths. Your body is waiting for you to take action. Your muscles are ready to grow stronger. Your bones are ready to become denser. Your brain is ready to form new connections. Your metabolism is ready to burn efficiently, but only if you stop believing the lies and start living the truth. Here's your choice. You can continue following advice that makes you weaker every year, or you can fight back and reclaim your vitality. If this video opened your eyes to how you've been deceived, hit that like button hard. Subscribe and ring the bell, because your future self depends on the knowledge you'll gain. The comment section is where this conversation continues. Tell me which myth shocked you most. Share your own story of medical advice that made you worse instead of better. Together, we're building a movement of seniors who refuse to accept decline as inevitable. Your voice matters. Your experience matters. Your health matters.